Oh boy, was tonight a doozy. Not only that, we have a special guest. He's sitting right there, but I won't tell you who he is yet. We have a full panel as well. My God, it's been 3 weeks since we've had this. It's a lot. It's about to go down right now. Here we go.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to your Bachelorette After Show. My name is Danny. This is AFTERBUZZ TV. And next to me, I am so excited to say this. All three of my co-hosts are here. Actually, this might be a record, the most people we've had in the studio. No, it's not true. We did have Dan Cox and Michael Garofalo, and you and me all went shirtless one night behind the panel with two ladies. So that's the thing. But that's neither here nor there.
It's on the internet.
You know what's here? All three of you guys and a special guest. First of all, always to my left, at least when she's in town.
I'm
lovely
here.
Chelsea Briche.
Hi guys, I'm so happy to be back.
Yeah. And to your left, also wearing a bright summer color.
Hey,
you guys coordinate well.
Yeah, I'm Kristina Zias, and I'm happy to have you back too.
I know. God, thanks for having my back. It was like silence.
I got you, girl.
Did you not miss me?
We all
Chelsea,
missed you.
I introduced you as the lovely Chelsea Briche. What more
But
do you want?
I need a little more.
It's great to have you back.
Good to be here, guys. Back to you, Danny.
It's great to have you, Dad.
In the
Guys,
studio.
I know a lot of you guys follow Brooks and I on Snapchat. We almost died this weekend. Let us put it that way.
Just put it that way.
We were camping on Catalina. We're gonna put a video together. Let's just put it this way, because a freaking eagle landed next to us. I know you guys are asking for details, but we don't have time for that. Just know it's gonna happen later.
And I have these sandals that might have looked like Dad's sandals. I gave up my dreams, drive a Subaru, and, cart around groceries to my kids and yell at them all day.
I drive a Dodge Stratus.
So I became the dad of the trip. So there's some good and great dad moments.
So,
To be continued.
to be continued, like tonight's episode. But before we get
Very
there,
apropos.
we're gonna have Steve. Shout out to Steve, our producer. Switch the camera over to our special guest in studio, ladies and gentlemen, James J. Fuertes.
Ooh, nice. I like how you said that.
sexy.
You rolled the R and everything. Very nice.
Fuertes.
Yeah, that was good.
When you introduce yourself, how do you say it?
My name's James. I just gotta skip it. 'cause
If you have to give the
if
last
I have to say it, I'll just say Fuertes.
Oh,
and then inevitably someone's like, "Oh, how do you pronounce that?" And I say, "There's a friend named Tess here. She just left. We're gonna say where's Tess? Put an F on it. Fuertes."
Whoa, Fuertes.
That's scripted because I've said it so many times.
You just blew Chelsea's mind.
Yeah,
We'll
right.
explain it later.
That flew right over my head.
So James, you're obviously in town for a special reason. You taped
Right.
Men Tell All
Yeah.
on Saturday.
On
Is
Saturday.
that right?
On Saturday we did.
How did it go? And just so you guys know, just to be clear for all the fans, James is not going to give any spoilers.
Right. No spoilers. I
Yeah.
can't do it by contract. I can't do it even if I wanted to. No,
But
I
you
won't.
do know. You know everything.
I know everything.
Everything.
I'm the key maker.
Jesus.
I own all the
How much
keys.
do you know about Paradise?
Yes.
Oh
yes.
Do you know about
Yes.
the next season, The Bachelor?
I might.
Do you know about?
might.
Do you know about?
I know a lot. I know a lot.
Wait.
I know a
Do you know
lot.
about Bachelor 2020?
No.
Let's end the
I
show
don't
right
know.
now.
I
We'll
feel
take the
We're gonna be in
headphones off.
cryogenic freezers.
I feel like we should have been feeding James drinks the entire time.
Oh,
we were here.
no,
Because
no,
he was
just
here
like
for
just-
2 hours. We could have gotten a lot more hours.
was
No, but
Right.
I
This
don't
is
want to
true.
know.
Chelsea.
I do. I want to know.
Oh, I'm being blamed.
So James,
Yes, sir.
promise no spoilers.
No spoilers. I will try my best. No spoilers.
All right, so let's start with that. How was Men Tell All? Just give us
it
like
was-
an overview.
It was great, man. It was great. I mean, like every other Men Tell All, you're going to see some guys getting in it with each other. You're going to see some guys getting in it with Jojo. You're going to see, yeah. You're going to see some guys getting into it with Chris. I mean, it was
Who'd
wild.
you get
Really?
into it with?
Yeah, I was gonna say, what about you?
I can't say, man.
Okay,
I mean,
but did you get into it with anybody?
Maybe there's possibility.
Did you go tie or no tie? We're like, I'm going to do formal.
That's a good question. I went no tie. I went no tie. Yeah, I went no tie. I went
That's a
suit
good
jacket, no tie, no
like
shirt either, just the jacket. Just the jacket.
But the jacket, one button on the bottom.
One button on the bottom.
Just
One
like
button on the bottom. I
Robbie.
wanted to be like Robbie. Yeah,
Good
channeling my
God.
inner St. Augustine. Apparently.
So you live in Nashville.
I live in Nashville, Tennessee. Yes, sir.
How long or how many times have you been to LA?
Oh man, a handful of times. I lived in LA a while ago.
You did. Okay.
It would
Okay,
have
so
been
you-
amazing if you'd pulled out a travel log.
Yeah,
That would be very
That's right.
Let me
Well,
check.
let me look this over real quick.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's do this then. Because I want to talk about, you're doing some really cool things in Nashville and
Yeah.
around the country. So I kind of want to highlight that at the end of the show. Let's
Sure.
go through the episode, and then I want to talk about you and what you're up to, and
Let's do it.
maybe try to squeeze some spoilers out.
Yeah, come back
Yeah,
to
okay,
the
that's
fort.
cool.
I think so.
Yeah, come back to the
I'm gonna walk
Fuertes.
out. I don't
do
want to
that.
hear anything.
Let's do this. Let's go in order because we saw 4 hometowns. I didn't really notice much different about any of them until the very end. There wasn't a lot of things that really
You're
stood
gonna have
out to
some
me.
explaining to do, Danny.
Really?
You have some explaining to do.
There was a few little things, but that's just my overall opinion. Give me your
Wait,
overall.
you're saying that all the first 3 dates
They were
blended
the same?
together?
No, I didn't say they blended together, but it wasn't like I really noticed like some glaring like, oh God, Jordan's better than Chase, better than Robbie.
Oh, I disagree with that.
Really?
Pretty good.
I totally
Yeah.
disagree too.
See,
I
James,
love it.
James is no. Just when James was asking me like, how do you like, what do you do? Do you just like start fires and then try? That's what I do. I start fires.
I like that.
this.
I like that. It's just nice.
Yeah, because I'm fuming right now.
So let's go to the man
I don't
himself.
get it.
James, what was your overall opinion on tonight's episode?
You know what? My opinion is gonna be very, very biased. Okay, because I was part of a room in the house that was called the Garden.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Who was in the garden?
Wait, did you guys name that, or
No,
have they
no.
since made names for the rooms?
Yeah. So what happened was, and I'm not really spoiling anything because they talk about this already in the show.
Yeah.
Just very, very briefly in one of the other episodes. So there were certain guys in the house that just always got roses, right? And so we were like, well, we're always getting roses, and so James T came up with the idea. Well, let's just call that room the Garden.
That's
And
genius.
so Alex
That's
Robinson-
amazing. I love that.
Now Alex took it to the next level, and
Of
so
course
Alex
he
and
did.
Jordan and Robbie and Chase, and they were all my roommates in this room with bunk beds and whatnot. They're like, well, let's come up with flower names.
Alex, Jordan, Robbie, Chase,
Alex, Jordan, Robbie, Chase,
And you.
and me. We're all in the same room.
so 3 out of 5 are still on the show.
This is correct.
Interesting.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so
Quite
they
the
started coming up
garden.
with flower names.
Ooh.
Robbie was Sunflower because he's so tan.
I love it.
Alex was Wildflower because Alex.
Is a wild.
Yeah, he's pretty crazy.
Because his most famous line is, "I can't wait to watch you burn."
Yeah, that was.
Watch your mother burn.
yeah, right.
We don't know.
Burn like a mother.
Yeah, and then Jordan was Tulips because that was his favorite flower apparently. And then I walked in at the end of that conversation, so I come walking in and they've already named all the different flowers.
What'd you get? Just lay it on us.
Well, I didn't even know it was like a nickname. They just asked me. They're like, "What's your favorite flower?" I'm like, "Dogwood." And they go, "You're Dogwood."
That's a
actually
great. That's a great one. off the
Of
top
all
of
the
your
flower names to have as a nickname,
Dogwood.
you chose the most manly.
Yeah, it's not bad. Yeah.
Also, could act as like a gang.
This is true.
The garden gang.
I had it tattooed across my chest right here, but I misspelled it too. No. So as far as like the hometown dates go, those 3 guys, I didn't really like those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
Kind of
3?
in the house.
The one in the house.
You guys butted heads in the house?
Yeah.
Over
like
what?
like my roommates in the house, it turned a little bit like a high school clique. A
Really?
little bit. Yeah.
So what was it
Gardening
about?
secrets. What
Yeah.
I mean, I'd come
revealing
along-
growth strategies. What was
Yeah, all of it. Girl strategy. I mean, there was like that little pocket of guys who walk around and just hang out, and I'd be like, "Hey guys," and I'm like trying to jump into these
Yeah.
conversations. They're not like opening up, right? So they were just like, I was like, "All right, well, I guess."
ruthless.
You're not a front
Yeah.
runner. You're not going to be here at a hometown day like they knew.
That's. I don't know. I don't know if it was an age thing
weird.
or what, man. But I mean, I was very, very friendly with Chase in particular.
Yeah.
And Chase,
Gave the old cold shoulder.
he doesn't want anything to do with me ever.
Wait,
Ever.
so
I mean,
who
I'm very
is-
friendly with that guy. And he doesn't care.
Wait, so who
He'll
else
beans
is in
about me.
this like garden gang that
shade.
wanted to exclude you? It's Chase, Alex is still in it,
Yeah, Chase, Alex,
Robbie, Jordan, and that's it. So
Those are
everyone
the
else in
only
the
guys.
house was cool. Those guys were the ones who were rude.
Yeah, those are the the garden guys. Yeah.
Wow,
and,
that's
and even Derek brings
interesting.
it up on an episode. Derek is like,
Yeah, I
"I'm
remember
tired
that.
of hearing about the garden," and it was
Yeah.
just because it was like a.
Now
girl
I remember
clique,
that.
yeah.
Wait, so then if you had to pick someone you were closest to in the whole house, who would it be?
Closest guys I was with was Christian Bishop,
And Brandon.
and Brandon. Close to Brandon. Nick Benvenuti. I was close to that guy too.
Well, you said it about the vines. Sorry.
Ali, Derek. I was pretty close with Derek, and
Jim.
I think that was pretty much it. It wasn't that I had ill will toward these other guys. We just
Yeah.
never got along.
Yeah,
It's just
sure.
like, you know what,
Yeah.
man? If you're not gonna hear what I have to say, I'm just not.
And
gonna
that
spend
happens
time
in
with
any social setting. It's just
Yeah,
curious.
absolutely.
I mean, for us watching it and kind of playing in our head, like, oh, we
Yeah.
think these people look like they're close, based on obviously what producers cut and show us.
Right, right.
So interesting. Okay, well, let's start at the top.
Yeah,
then.
let's do it.
You mentioned Chase. Let's go with Chase. Highlands Ranch, Colorado, which is beautiful, by the way.
Beautiful.
Shows up in the snow. He's worried about coming from a divorced home. Jojo's parents been married 30 years. What'd you guys see on this date, ladies?
I was surprised by Chase a little bit. Honestly.
Really?
Yeah. I just felt like, especially when she first walked up, like their connection was a lot more than from what I remember. Like she was.
Like physical, or what do you mean?
Yeah, like physical. Their physical connection. I just honestly, he's been kind of lost in the shuffle for me, and he stood out in their hometown date. I mean, I can't say that was like a dream date, and I think that's probably really hard and has a lot of anxiety coming from a divorced family when when she has her family. So, I think for what it was, it turned out really well.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I feel like he gave Jojo what she wanted. And I think she was just so receptive to it. And for me, like, a big thing is when a guy talks to you in the eyes. And I feel like he was looking at her in the eyes. Like, Luke was looking at Jojo in the eyes. You know what I mean? And I think that's a big tell. I think he really cares about her. And I felt bad for him. He was just so sweet and warm on this date. And he definitely stepped it up a notch for me.
I was a little bit distracted because, having come from a family who's also been through a divorce, and he said things like broken home, and it like seemed like all these like negative things, and I was like, just because your parents are divorced doesn't mean that it's like necessarily a negative thing. But as the date went on, we saw that there was a lot more impact, and from some of the things that they said, they said something like what our dad had put us through. So I was like, oh, this was not like an amicable thing. It felt like definitely something happened with the father, and then something happened. And, I think that, I don't know what age this happened to him, but I can see why he would be a little bit lost in the shuffle, a little bit harder to talk about certain things. Because, A, you're already on a TV show. It's not like, hey, I want to tell you about all the shit I've been through and why I think, why I'm so hesitant in relationships.
Let me ask you guys this question. Do you think they painted enough of a picture for Chase to be in the conversation for next Bachelor?
No.
If he doesn't win? They're coming from the broken home, and
I started to think so this episode. Yeah, definitely. I mean, to me, I have him as one of my front runners after tonight's episode.
Whoa, really? Whoa.
Damn, I guess I'm all alone here.
I went straight to James because I want to see how he reacted to that. I saw eyebrows up. I saw big eyes.
I mean, I don't know. After all the other dates too, after Luke. And
you know what it is? No, Luke is still my number one.
Okay.
But I trust Chase more than I do Jordan or Robbie. I feel like he's more genuine.
I completely agree with you.
I feel like his.
I can see that.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Okay, so because of the trust factor,
Right, which is a huge
based on what was
factor.
revealed tonight, or what is it about Jordan that you still don't trust him?
Oh.
Jordan, I don't trust him at all. First of all, he can't look Jojo in the eyes, and when she's questioning him about his emotions, his feelings towards her, about not trusting him, he laughed. Like that, you don't have a chuckle to that.
Do you think he was smiling because it's so minute? Because it's not even on his radar. Like he responded with in that moment, "I'm in love with you. I can't wait to do this and see where this gets." Like that's how his response was.
I mean, I guess maybe, but I don't know. I just don't trust him.
Interesting.
Same. I have that same gut instinct. I think he's like a little snake. Like that's.
Was he a snake in the house?
You can tell in his eyes.
You know what? Good thing we got somebody that was in that.
Oh, here we go. Okay, what you talking about, Chase or Jordan? Which one are you talking about? Jordan. Was Jordan a snake in the house?
Yeah.
What was
Did
your vibe?
you get sneaky vibes? Snake on a plane?
I didn't.
No.
Really? Do you
What
think?
kind of vibes
I thought
did
Jordan
you
was pretty
get?
genuine.
Yeah.
So, do you think what's being translated on TV is true to his character?
Yeah, I would say so. Now,
But you don't get any
could've-
suspicion from him.
if there is, it's very, very little.
So he was,
That's
like, he was a
interesting.
good dude in the house. Like, what? Like,
Yeah, he was a decent guy in the house. Yeah, he was funny. I'd be sitting there talking with Derek, and he would just walk up and start talking to us.
he's around. He was friendly with everybody.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. Yeah.
What about
he's
Chase?
alright.
I feel like
What about Chase? Because I feel like you're saying stay far away
I
from
didn't-
Chase.
Yeah, I never. I mean, Chase was the guy where so if there's somebody that I don't know, right, and it's Chase, and I'm going to be like regularly asking questions. So tell me about this. Tell me about this. He wants to end conversations relatively quick and move on, and it's just he's just not as warm.
But does he engage with others?
He engages with guys that have the short hair on the side and a big pompadour on top. If you look like he does, he's going to connect with you on a physical level and now
got a
emotional
type.
and everything
That's
else.
so
He would do very well in LA. He'd have tons of friends.
I mean, and all those guys kind of had the same haircut
They
too.
did.
I need to start growing my hair out.
the
Boom.
thing about Jordan, I'm like so 50-50. A part of me really enjoys him and I don't know if it's a physical attraction or he just has that charisma. But then there's just something in my gut that
Is it 50-50? Is it 80-20? Where is it really?
No, I think it's 50-50.
Wait, can I dive into that a little bit?
Why are you saying it like that?
I agree with that.
I feel like you flip-flop. I feel like it's like 80-20 for you, and you dropped it to 50-50 tonight. So what tonight changed that back down, where you trust him less than you did before?
Why I trust him less now?
Yeah.
There was something in the way
See?
when he. Okay, well, I'm explaining to you.
Yeah, something in the way.
That when he was talking to Jojo, that was so ungenuine. Like if I was her,
Interesting.
and I'm asking those questions, and that's his response.
What do you
like,
say?
I don't even know if I would waste my time saying anything. I think his like his
Body language,
his body
the way he
language said it
responded.
all.
I agree. What worries me is how Jojo reacted to him, because I feel like there was a huge difference from how she reacted to Chase as she reacted to Jordan.
Yeah.
Yes. While we're on that topic, by the way, because I wrote these down because I was like, this is definitely her dude. Because
These are all filler words till he gets to his notes.
yes.
Yeah.
Well, no, this is to your point. Like, she's not really paying attention to that because she's just
She's just in such a trance.
I
This is
feel
my
like
guy.
this is how I feel about you.
Yeah, I agree.
About Jordan, she wrote, she said about the date prior to going to the hometown, she's like, I want it to be perfect. Right? I'm like, you don't just say something like that. Like, oh, and then she said, I'm praying that today goes well. She bought Fill My Heart right before they went into the door. She's like, I'm so nervous. She's like, yeah, you're gonna have like 2 seconds and it'll be gone. Body language at the dinner table, like she was leaning into him. They kissed in front of the family.
They were very affectionate.
She said, I'm crazy about him to the family. She said, this man is incredible in her interview at the house. It just, to me, it seemed like that's not even none of his.
Do you guys
body
remember when
language
they were
is
sitting
being
on the bench and she
absorbed.
goes, you ready for all this?
You're right. Yeah, I do remember that.
That for me was the biggest, like,
Tell all.
dang it, that's it. Like,
Yeah, I
he's-
think so too.
She was always more receptive to Jordan.
How,
than anybody else in the
Why do you
house.
say that? Like, how?
So the way her eyes would light up. So
Yeah.
she'd be like looking at all the guys, and then like, boom, and something would just change.
Like,
even
you could
during,
tell
even
she
during
was
rose
looking.
ceremonies, man.
And it was like visible. You
Yeah,
could
so
see
she's got all the roses, and then she'd like look at her, and I'm sure maybe he winks, maybe he smiles, I don't know, but you just see like she knows he's
Gush.
gonna get.
Okay, if you had, so if he's number one, if you had to rank a second or a third,
If I had to rank a second or a third, I would probably put Robbie and Luke at second. Second and third, close second.
Robbie's in the same pool as Luke.
There's just no way that could even
because-
possible.
I know he seems like a cheeseball on TV, but in
Get out,
real life, he was
Yeah.
a decent guy.
No, I want to
Of all
hear
the
that.
guys
In real life, what?
Of all the guys in the garden, Robbie was a decent guy.
Kindly
Decent guy.
leave.
And you know what?
Kindly.
I think that's so nice to hear. And I feel like JoJo said to his mom, "I'm falling in love with him." She didn't say that to anyone else.
And
Well, she
did
said,
say
"I want to
about-
be I want you to be the first to know." Because
To
I don't
Rob-
even think
to
she's
Robbie's mom.
told
To Robbie's
Robbie's
mom.
mom that, or she hasn't even told Robbie that she is like in love with him.
Right, but I'm saying we didn't hear her say that to Jordan's mom, to Chase's mom, to Luke's mom. I feel like
Right.
that's
or
a
she
huge
did,
thing.
and they cut it out.
But
They
why
didn't
would
show
they-
it.
I don't think
build
they
up-
would cut that
to
out.
build up the fall when it's just Robbie and whoever.
No, Bachelor does not cut out anything like that. They tell you.
Despite highly.
James does not agree with you.
James, that she did say about Robbie tonight. She said Robbie's been the most honest and open
And the most
communicative through
real.
the whole process.
Yeah, I would say Robbie's been pretty real. Like I never had even one shred of feeling this guy's kind of deceptive. Not even close.
That's so interesting.
That's so
Because
interesting.
I immediately, when I saw him, I was like, don't like this guy.
I mean, I will say,
That's what I thought.
is
I was
Is it
like,
his
don't
look?
like this
Maybe
guy.
it's his look.
Are we
I
talking
think
about
so.
Jordan? Are we talking about
No,
Jordan or
we're talking
Robbie?
about
Robbie.
Okay, so yeah. I'm getting a little confused between Jordan and
Sorry.
Robbie. Anything else on Jordan before we move all the way to Robbie? He loved his family. I loved how much he loved his family. Minus the whole thing about his brother. And
Yes,
what was so
we need
interesting
to talk about that.
is Luke didn't even refer to his brother by name. He just said
No.
my
Other brother. Yeah, I saw that.
That's deep.
Did you hear anything about that in the house?
No, whenever we asked Jordan about his brother, he was he was just all matter of fact.
Because I'm sure people, you
So
guys
what
all
did he
knew
say?
that
Like,
you guys all knew.
I didn't know that their relationship was that rocky.
But I mean, you
Never
know,
But
it
you
was
knew that
brother.
was his brother.
Oh yeah, we knew Aaron was brother. Yeah,
So,
yeah.
like, I'm sure people kind of wanted to, like, ask about it.
Yeah, I mean, there was one time we all sat around the couches and we were talking about just football. We were talking about what makes his brother great. Why couldn't Jordan go farther in the NFL and
Sure.
stuff like that?
And I want to ask about that real quick. How was he to that? Was he cool about talking about
Oh, he was super cool about that. I mean, it was almost like you were talking to a sportscaster about that. He was very, very all about the stats and this and that. Blah, 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 blah. He's hitting all these different points but we never knew that their relationship was that rocky.
Interesting.
Until JoJo kept asking about it. And she asks about it a lot, right?
She does ask about it a
Yeah,
lot.
for not talking about it, they talked about it
A
a
lot.
lot.
Yeah.
There was a
Yes.
meme that
Yes.
popped up that when he told her that their relationship was rocky, somebody put like, and there goes your 2 seats at every
Yeah.
Packers game.
Totally.
That's
Nice.
It's the only other thing they talk more about than they talk
About Ben.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
that and then Ben.
like, and both of it needs to stop.
Did you
Yeah.
guys
Right.
see how Aaron's face was blurred out in one of
In
the
the
family
pictures?
photos?
Yeah. Like he didn't give his
Contraction.
permission.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
he said, no, don't show me. Yeah, I don't know.
I think this is so important to JoJo. Well, one, because I think America wants to know about it, so that's why it's being brought up so much. But JoJo has 2 brothers, right? So when she's envisioning this family that they're gonna have together, she's probably like, okay, if we're all together, my brothers are gonna want to hang out with you guys. Like, how is this dynamic gonna play?
Sure,
you
which is
know?
fair.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Which I think another thing about JoJo that she's doing really well is she's being honest and fair, because I haven't seen her overextend her emotional relationship with any of these guys. The only one we've seen that with, I feel like, is Jordan, but I don't think that that's an overextension. That's her saying, I want you to know I feel that way.
Yeah.
And when he said something when they were hugging outside, I don't know if he said, I love you, whatever that key moment was, she said, yeah, you say that now, but will you want that forever? It was her first response. I was just like, yeah, but I'm not feeling it enough from you, so maybe there is a little bit of like, I've pretty much given it to you, and I'm just fearful that like.
But he
you're
did,
not
to
gonna give it
his
back.
credit, the last thing he said before he opens the door in the car, he goes, don't ever doubt this, I'll prove that to you.
Yeah, I know.
It's the last
and I
thing
feel
he
like that's
said.
going to be the resounding thing from this season is that moment. That's the one that's going to come back in later episodes that we're all going to go like, he said he was going to prove it.
Anything else on Jordan before we move to Robbie, officially? All right, so Robbie's date, obviously St. Augustine, Florida, the carriage ride, and then the whole moment, and I think this is what we want to focus on, is Robbie really over his ex? Now, in the house, did he talk about it? Did you guys know about this?
We didn't know about it. I didn't know about it.
Did you guys ever have a conversation of like, when's the last girl you dated, or like, how recently before the show were you dating somebody? Did that ever get brought up?
If it was brought up, it wasn't brought up with me around.
Not just with him, but I mean in general. Do guys talk about that in the house?
Oh man, let me tell you, the show is a whirlwind when you're on the show, and so sometimes those questions come up. Other times you're just like, how do I function inside this space? Where,
what do I do
there's
with my
cameras?
hands?
Yeah. I don't know what to do, man. Yeah, I mean, because there's cameras everywhere,
Yeah.
and you're totally cut off. Like you're cut up. There's no phones. There's no music. There's no TV. So everything is heightened. All of the stakes are much higher now.
Yeah.
The relationships are so much stronger. I mean, it's very feasible to me, anyways, that you would fall in love with someone over the period of weeks that the show is being filmed, because those are the only relationships you have. You don't really have relationships with the crew.
Yeah. So you feel like you probably left with better relationships with guys than you did with JoJo.
Oh, oh yeah, hands down. Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
So, but
So
to your
interesting,
question,
yeah.
it was. Did Robbie ever mention that? No.
Okay. So
I have a question about that
Yeah.
in general. Do we see more? Because there was the way that what was her name that was possibly going to be the next Bachelor?
Kayla.
The way she talked about her relationship just previous sounded like she broke up with her boyfriend so that she
go
could
on
come
the
on the show.
She did say
But we
that.
don't ever have that moment where like, is the boyfriend going to show up? Because I don't know if there's ever been a boyfriend that's showed up.
well, Chad showed up for JoJo. Well, showed up with flowers right before her date with Ben at her house. He had left flowers at her door. Remember last season?
Mm-hmm.
Ben comes to her house and JoJo was crying when he gets there because Chad, her ex, had just put flowers there.
Flowers there.
Yeah.
But we've had like actual girls show up on the season, like on the episodes. Have we ever had a boyfriend,
I
ex-boyfriend?
don't know if we have.
I'm just curious if
Not off
they
the top
make
of my
it a more of a point with Robbie. They're like, oh, this is a better spin for us than it is for someone like Kayla, because they didn't even touch on it on Kayla.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Interesting.
And I just I'm just wondering if there's a trend. Maybe someone in chat roll knows. We've lost. I'm not a historian, Bachelor historian. But that'd be interesting.
I mean, so honest opinion, ladies, you are sitting there in JoJo's seat and you ask Robbie about just breaking up. About did his explanation give you peace? Do you believe him?
I do.
If you're JoJo?
I don't think it's fair for JoJo to say that when she ended her relationship with Ben so much more recently than he ended it.
But it wasn't a
with his girlfriend.
4-year relationship either. It was a TV show, 3 to 4 months.
But I don't think it's fair to
You're saying her.
invalidate the relationship that you could have from a TV show.
I'm just saying, I think it's a little different. While they got to the point of saying that they love each other, her and Ben, it's still different than 4 years with somebody. Scientists say on scientific evidence that it takes 3 to 4 years to fully know somebody. I'm not saying it's not possible to fully know somebody. So they've spent 3 or 4 years together, Robbie and his ex, and just ended. I think it's a little different.
I don't know.
I don't agree with you.
I don't agree either.
Especially with the way that JoJo still talks about Ben. First of all, stop talking about Ben.
Yeah,
Second
agreed.
of all, why are we still talking about Ben? We are at hometown dates.
Well, it's relevant to a lot of conversations this season, and I get it. It is a little much, but it is relevant to what's happening. It's like, well, I did that with Ben. I don't want to do that
But then
again.
that's still relevant that she just got off this show with Ben, and now she's coming on a date. You don't think that her just getting out of this relationship is any more parallel to Robbie breaking up?
I think it's similar. You're in the same ballpark, but I think it's different. I think he would have been fair to say, well, I mean, yeah, I just got out, but also you just got out of one, and you're sitting here, okay?
Now, he did say that it was over like 9 months ago.
Yes,
Before it even,
exactly.
Right. So
no, he said it was over
done.
9 months before it even ended.
Right.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And that's a long time.
So even if he officially broke up with his girlfriend
Right.
right before the show happened, I mean, if I'm in some toxic relationship and all of a sudden the show says, hey, we want you to be on the show, that might be the catalyst for me to say, okay, you know what? I got
This
go.
has been
Agreed.
bad.
Yeah.
We both
Yeah.
know that.
Yeah.
That's
By
been
the way,
talked
side
about
note,
it.
hi to everyone in Venezuela. There's a lot of people on the chat roll from Venezuela tonight. That's a new one.
Nice.
Nice.
I don't know if I'm sitting there, if I'm Jojo, I'm trying to I didn't feel like his explanation. I wanted him to be more demonstrative, more like, no, it's over. He was just kind of like, yeah.
I don't know.
It's over.
I think he was,
goes,
like, really
I will not
distraught.
talk to her again. Period. It's over.
I think he made
I was
an
like-
effort. He like came in and bursted in on his sisters talking to her. You know what I mean?
Okay, but first of all, the way he handled that was just
Get
like,
out. I got to talk.
Yeah, that was a
This
little
is
dramatic.
serious.
I
Yeah.
tweeted about that,
I was,
but he
like,
says it's serious. He
laughing.
means business.
Yeah.
Cindy Lou on the chat roll just proposed something. I don't know if this is true. Cindy Lou says, I think they're editing Ben's name in. Is that even a possibility?
Editing his name in?
I don't think so. Not
No.
on this. Not in. Not in
That's a
this.
high level of
No, I don't
edits.
think so.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's no.
that's literally putting
Make sure
words
we
in our
Sorry,
mouth.
we
Lou.
clear that idea.
I mean, I think Robbie he was put in a really hard spot. Like, and I think he just got so flustered because he genuinely really just wants to be with Jojo.
Yeah.
So I get what you're saying, that you wanted him to come in and be like, here's the deal, and lay it all out there. I would want that as well. However, I think just find out the information, having Jojo in another room with his sisters, I think for that situation, he handled it as best as he could.
And I think his mom is freaking awesome. It says
my
something,
God, I know.
it says something
So
about his
cute.
mom for Jojo to get to a place in a conversation in a matter of maybe 12 to 30 minutes, however long they had, to a place where she can tell a lady she just met, I'm falling in love with your son.
Yeah.
That's huge. That says a lot about the mom and how she warmly received her, you know?
Definitely.
Brooks, how long are these hometown dates?
Yeah, I was about to say she could have had about an hour, maybe hour.
Hour with a glass of wine.
Just with the mom?
wow.
Just with the mom.
Oh, so they're there for hours.
Maybe even longer.
Wow.
Yeah. So because it's very orchestrated though. Like when you show up, like as we saw, you see the dinner plates all done already
Right.
because they don't want it to be awkward, but they've already eaten, right? So the camera crew is already in
Wait,
the house.
what do you mean they've already eaten?
The
Hi to
family's
everyone in
already
Spain.
eaten. So they just have dinner there, so it looks like there's dinner.
Yeah.
It's not the dinner you actually eat.
It's fake dinner.
Oh.
It's fake plastic dinner.
But anyway, the point being, it's like the camera crew's already there. They're instructing the family this is what's going to happen in the rooms, where you're going to talk. That's all set
Okay.
up. So you don't get all just hangout time. You know what I mean? They're splitting you up and stuff. So yeah, they get probably 5 hours, 6 hours at
Oh,
home.
wow.
It's a lot of
Okay.
time.
I didn't know it was
What were you
that
going to say?
long.
You were going to add something?
Oh, no. I was just going to agree with them, yeah, because it'd be a microphone nightmare. I mean, you'd be hearing
Oh, eating.
you'd hear
Yeah.
utensils and like
Oh my
scratching
God.
the plates and
Ooh,
forks.
I just got
No,
it.
there's no way.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts on Robbie before we move to Luke?
Nope, we can talk about Luke all anymore.
Oh,
You did mention this, like at the end, or you mentioned at the end. She did say, and I think it was a voiceover as they were walking in the rain with the coolest umbrella ever. By the way,
The clear one?
I think Cameron, Chelsea's brother Cameron's mentioned before. I think Cameron mentioned, of course it's raining. Of course it was raining at that moment. But she goes, he's been the most honest and the most real. Robbie has. This is JoJo saying this.
I think Jojo really cares about him.
She does.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought he was super genuine when I talked to him.
We're talking about Robbie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Robbie, yeah.
Well-
yeah. Even after the show was done filming, I thought he was really genuine.
Okay, here's a question. This is kind of random, but it just came to me. So he was a former professional swimmer.
Yeah, Olympic trial swimmer.
Olympic
He went
trial
to
swimmer.
the
Like,
trials.
that's, yeah, that's
Wow.
legit. Which are actually in Omaha, Nebraska. Fun fact, where I'm from.
Hey.
I'm just saying. But then Jordan was also a former professional athlete.
Right.
Which one of those, if you had to rank one, talked about their former athletic status more?
You know, both of them were super humble about that. We
I
would
love
ask
hearing
them.
that.
We would
Yeah.
ask them about it, and they'd be like, "Oh, okay, let me talk to you about it." I mean, there was a pool, and we were always asking Robbie, "Hey, Robbie, show us how far you can go back and forth, like underneath the water, holding your breath." And he's like, "No, man, I won't. No."
That
And then he
says a lot
finally
about
did it.
him?
He just crushed everybody, of course.
Really?
But yeah.
But that says a lot about him. You always want to hear
Yeah.
somebody who has
Yeah, they're
every
humble.
reason to brag about everything that they have, and they keep it humble.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
Interesting. Okay.
nice.
All right, let's do this. Let's talk about Luke. Ladies, I know you are waiting to swoon.
Here we go.
If this guy doesn't win JoJo's heart, I tweeted this. He just won himself. That was a perfect audition. He nailed that audition
Yeah.
to be the next Bachelor.
Yeah.
Or like the next Nicholas Sparks. I
The
feel
next
like
whatever he wants to be. Oh my
So
God.
before we
Good
dive in
Lord.
this, tell us about Luke. What's Luke like off the camera?
Luke is a super nice guy. Super nice guy. So he wasn't part of the garden, and I think I need to do like the politician's answer. It's not that I didn't like the garden; it's I didn't like them as much as I like the other guys.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
No, that's good.
Take it easy, Alex. So Luke was super nice. Very very nice guy. Articulate. He had what we call a rhino chest. His chest is massive.
Yeah, Luke's, you know,
His
has its
chest
own
is
Twitter
massive.
account, right?
What was that?
It has its own Twitter account, Luke's side boob.
Yeah. I mean, it's just huge, and he'd always be working out, almost as much as Chad.
Which we haven't even got to. We'll get there.
Yeah, we won't get there just yet. But yeah, super nice guy. He's very very quiet. He was like under the radar. Like he's just
Okay.
stayed out of the drama. Whenever drama started happening, he'd get up and kind of walk away like I'm not gonna be a part of this.
Interesting.
I like
that doesn't
that.
surprise
I like that.
me. Yeah, it
Yeah,
doesn't
it doesn't.
surprise me.
Nice guy. Super
Okay.
nice guy. He's come to a few boxing classes.
Really?
For us, yeah.
Nice.
We're gonna work on his technique a little bit. We're gonna work on his technique a little bit.
Yeah, he's probably got soft hands from all those times with the cows and yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
Interesting. Okay, so ladies, just overall thoughts. Is Luke? Is this it?
I would love to have.
I have no.
ladies.
I
I don't know how it couldn't be, but everything how it turned out, the end of the episode, like I am.
Just so you guys know, this was Chelsea as she's watching.
No, like you guys, because I
Literally.
What she
no,
did.
because I don't
done.
understand. I don't understand how she is not confident, like in any of it, or how she would even say, "I'm going to be sending Luke home."
He was the
That-
only one who did a surprise.
He's the only one that has done a lot of things. Go. Yes.
No. The first group date, right? Firefighting group date.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Luke almost beat Grant. They're not going to show that.
Right.
But he almost beat him. He was ahead of him. And then
Okay.
something fouled him up. He was trying to like put a belt buckle on the dummy, and then Grant passed him. But after that, we have our own little miniature cocktail party.
Yeah.
And we're all kind of hanging out. We're like, "Where's Jojo?" And we look up on the balcony, and there's Luke kissing Jojo, and we're like, "Well, that's bullshit." Wait, no, I'm sorry, I didn't know if I was.
Oh,
supposed
you're
to say that. But yeah, so he was the only one, and like within the first week, she's
That
immediately
she-
started the physical chemistry with him. Yeah.
Right, and I think that was so apparent that it was there. So I'm just so in awe that the words "I'm gonna send Luke home" would come out of her mouth, especially after a date like that. Like that is literally a Nicholas Sparks date.
I don't remember, but is it possible that could have been a voiceover, or did she actually say it? I don't remember the scene when she said
No,
it.
said
she
it.
said
She
it.
said it.
It was
In the
to
blue
camera.
dress.
I think
Yep.
that's why we thought.
in
It was
the
a
low-cut blue
voiceover
dress.
of her talking. It was a voiceover of her talking, but yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that's why we thought that. We're like, there's no way. There's no way she actually said that after that date. Everything we've seen with
Right.
Luke.
Oh, it
And I
was-
don't
it
know
was
what
in the
she's
moment.
confused about. He is so the way that he looked in her eyes and those words that he
I
said
mean-
to her. I mean, like, be still my heart, because I don't.
Oh my goodness.
Oh
Here
my
we go.
God.
No, but I completely
Wow.
agree with you. The
Wow.
date was picture perfect. The only thing that I could say is that JoJo has said so many times how she's a words of affirmation girl. And I think that she really needed to hear, like, I love you. And I think at that point, she was like, maybe he just doesn't love me. These other guys are telling me they love me. How can I choose someone who hasn't given that to me?
But I think he said so much more than
No,
that,
I mean,
you
I
know?
completely agree.
Like he's a guy who speaks through action.
Like, because sometimes I think, like, just saying, like, let's say, I'm just going to say Robbie. In Robbie's case, when he's like, I love you, those words that came out of Luke's mouth would not have come out of Robbie's
Doesn't
mouth.
carry the weight.
Right.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
doesn't.
Carry the weight.
Brooks, what were you gonna say?
You just blew something up for me. You said that JoJo is a words of affirmation. And every date that we've had, including this one, when she was talking to Chase's mother, she said something to the tune of that they're slow to talk about their feelings and emotions. But I haven't seen her do a lot of that. You know, like,
Who,
so I
JoJo
found
talk
that that's
about her?
pretty interesting. She said that a lot. It's been like a reoccurring theme in all of her conversations, aside from drinking the wine when she's uncomfortable. But I think,
You're saying it's not reciprocated.
yeah, I find that interesting.
I mean, did you notice was she quick to share feelings, open about what's going on in her heart?
didn't share it with me.
I mean, did she share it in the house at all? Did you ever have a moment where you feel like
no.
you got a sense of?
So you guys know she doesn't live in the house, right?
Yeah.
We know she doesn't live in the house. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. Cool. So she'd only show up to just like swoop the group guys away or swoop the one guy away. Yeah, she never really shared her feelings because it was more like making announcements. All right, guys, cool. Me and James are gonna take off. You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But as far as like watching the one-on-one dates, Brooks is totally right. She's definitely not saying.
Only
Which
with
is
Jordan.
actually
We've
so
only seen it with
interesting,
Jordan.
though.
This is true.
Right.
Only with Jordan, yeah.
The only thing I could say about Luke's date, because it was incredible, is that
Yeah.
I think that maybe Jojo needed some more one-on-one time with Luke. And the fact that there were so many people there. She said, I missed you today. I didn't even get to talk to you. And I think that maybe, he didn't tell her that he loved her and that maybe she was just so overwhelmed by everyone else. She's like, I feel like I still don't even know him. Like, where are we standing,
See, but for me, it made perfect sense, and I'll tell you why. Before we move on, but there's this moment where they're sitting on that chair. It's before they go to the final surprise, and anybody who's ever been in a relationship knows this moment. You're sitting there, you're looking at each other, and one person says what, and the other person says nothing, but it says everything. And it makes
Totally.
sense. And in that moment, that's when I was like, Jesus, this is as real.
Yeah. I totally
But in
agree
that
with
moment,
you.
that's when he should have said, I love you. And I feel like for
You're
her,
right.
he didn't say it there, and that's
But
why
for
maybe
me,
she was so
that
confused.
said more than any of the other guys saying, I love you.
Yep.
I mean, I
I'm with
agree,
you.
but I'm just trying to give this girl some reasoning because it makes no sense.
But I also wonder, and maybe it's just like the show, why the guys never ask how she's feeling.
I think they do, but they ask it in shorthand at the beginning when she's like, "Hey, how are you doing? How's your day? How are you feeling?"
Yeah, but
Great,
why
how are you
aren't they
feeling?
the
Good."
ones like to drill questions like she's drilling
Or-
them?
or
This
do
is a
they?
relationship.
And they don't show us.
or it's
And-
edited out, yeah.
And partly because she's in the driver's seat all the time, you start to feel passive in the sense of like, I don't know what's going on. Okay, I'm just
Is this what happened to you?
No, I think at times, yeah. At times, I think that a lot of people that go through the show feel that way, including women. But I feel like, they also aren't checking in with the Bachelor.
Sure.
Actually, that's not true. Women are way better at it. Now that I'm thinking about the episodes,
Yeah.
She's
women
having
are way
epiphanies
better
right
at
now,
it.
right here at AfterBuzz TV.
Anyway, yeah, maybe it's just a.
And then we get the
communication.
stupid to be continued. That surprised
Oh
me.
my
I didn't see that coming. So we get Monday night. We have someone. So walk me through this. Monday night, someone leaves. You already know.
I already know it
Can
all.
you-
man.
I don't know if you can- we can't even ask
I
you.
know Bachelor
No.
in Paradise winners.
I don't
know
want
it
to.
all.
Don't say anything.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I know it all. Yeah.
So Monday night we
wait,
get
wait,
one of
can I
these
ask one
guys
question?
leave at the
No.
beginning, and then
Yeah.
we have fantasy suites on Monday night as well. Correct.
Woo!
And then someone will leave. Then mental health
Oh my
Tuesday, and the
God.
next Monday is just two people. So we're gonna see two people leave Monday night.
This is a lot. This is a
Is this?
lot.
Am I wrong? Chat roll, fill me in. Like, two people
No,
will leave
you're
Monday.
right.
Oh,
Two
yeah.
people
Wait,
leave Monday.
Yeah.
Because then the mental health Tuesday, and then the
Oh,
finale.
yeah, this one in the beginning, one at the end.
So we lose 50% of the cast.
So the question is, what two guys?
All
I'm
right.
not ready for
We
these answers.
can't even look
We're
at
not
him
there
and say
yet.
this.
We're not there
No,
yet.
I won't spoil it. I will definitely not spoil it.
Can I ask one question about
Yeah,
how
this
you
is.
know? how
Let's
you knew
move to
everything?
this time. We're gonna talk to James. Let's ask some questions now.
All right.
You said you knew
You're in the
everything.
hot seat.
How did this happen? Someone's like, "Hey, James, we're doing the thing where we go in the room and we tell everybody everything." Like, how did that happen?
So guys contractually are not supposed to tell the public,
Word.
but they tell each other what happens. So like at the Men Tell All, you're meeting all these other guys.
You guys were just chatting.
Several of them were on Bachelor in Paradise, and they're just like, "Hey, ba 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 ba."
Okay, cool.
Right.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
I hooked up with this person. I got engaged. Stuff like that.
Stuff like that.
When it was the first night in the house, right? If you could choose a final four, who would you have thought they would be?
Oh man, yeah.
Kristina!
Dropping the velvet hammer.
So
Let's hear it.
I loved Derek to be in the top four.
Okay.
I liked Luke in the top four.
Cool.
The other two guys, Jordan would probably be in the top four, and then I don't know who the who the fourth guy would be.
You.
Well, I mean that would have been nice, but there was, when you're having a conversation with somebody who's into you, and
Right.
they just hold the gaze a little bit too long. They kind of, when they're with someone, they're kind of looking back at you, kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
There was just
Yeah.
never that chemistry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sadly.
Well, that's what I was gonna ask you. What did you see it? Like, do you think if you had more time to explore it, there's a possibility?
I
is it
mean,
just-
if there was, I never had a one-on-one date.
Right.
So I would tell producers this, and I would tell the other guys in the house this too. I'd say, look, my biggest fear would be she's going to send home a shadow of someone that doesn't even exist.
Right.
So this is who I think James is, and that's what I can base my decision off of. Which there's limited amounts of time, so that's what's going to happen, and that is what happened.
Yeah.
So she just sees this like quiet guy standing in the background. So I guess I'll just send him home. Versus,
Would you do anything different? I mean, do you feel like
I don't know how I could have done anything.
Yeah,
different.
it's
I mean, I was myself. If I would have done anything different, I wouldn't have been myself.
That's a great answer.
Yeah.
I think there was such a big dichotomy of guys in the house. You had a certain number of guys who, if you want to think of this as a derogatory term, you can. I don't think of it as a derogatory term. You had certain guys that were like the frat guys. And you had other guys that were not. They just wouldn't play that game.
Yeah.
Like Derek didn't play that game. Wells didn't play that game. I didn't play that game.
Yeah.
And those guys didn't make it into the final 4 or 5 guys. So maybe there's a certain type that JoJo knew that she liked, and those are the guys that got further.
We were both
I think
doing
there's a
Wells left,
very specific
collectively.
type.
Yeah, and we got 5 minutes left, so I want to make this quick because I know people want to know.
Okay, cool.
Chad, obviously we know he's been in LA the last couple weeks. We were trying to get him on tonight. We were going to try to have you and Chad here.
Yeah, what happened? He said no?
Well, we tweeted him. We
What
asked
a
everybody to tweet him,
troll.
and he's working out in Muscle Beach somewhere.
Is that what he said? You should have
no.
told me to text him. I would have texted him and been like, Chad, get over here.
Well, Brooke's been taking
We've been
Okay.
The way you slid that in so easily, that makes me think you and Chad are cool.
Yeah, me and Chad are cool. Yeah,
So-
Chad are cool from the very beginning.
Really?
Yeah,
was
from
the
the first night.
perception just crazy, or was it that crazy?
No, Chad is crazy. So the
But
very
you
first
can say
night,
it because you like him.
because I like him. Yeah. So the very first night, I sat down with Chad and we just had this really nice long conversation, and it was great. So the rest of the time I'm there, I just stayed out of his way, and there'd be times where he would explode on somebody, come around the corner, and he'd say, James, I appreciate the fact that you're just a normal guy. I'm like, okay, thanks, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you'll see in the episode, there's an episode where he says, raise your hand if who has a problem with me, raise
Right,
your hand.
and
And I'm
you
just
did.
like, I'm cool with you.
I remember a couple people
Yeah.
didn't. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, what was the environment in the house when he actually was around? Because they made it seem like when
When
he's
he
around, tensions
exploded,
are high.
you would be like, oh my goodness, what is this guy gonna do?
Yeah.
Really?
Was that
Really?
unpredictable?
Like it was so volatile. You're seeing a taste of it. He would go on these tirades, and you're just like, oh my goodness, man.
So were there a bunch of
bipolar?
tirades?
Is he bipolar or
Were there a
what?
bunch of tirades we didn't even see?
Oh yeah. I mean, we
Really?
came home one day, and he like someone had moved his protein. And he went
No.
ape. He went ape, dude. I mean, he comes walking in the kitchen, and we're all like in the kitchen too, and he looks up, and he's like, which one of you F-tards moved my protein? and we're like, guys, we moved the protein because we had to put the dishes up there, Chad. Relax, calm down. I mean, he would explode.
That's awesome.
Who do you think had the biggest problem with Chad in the house?
Oh, it was probably Alex.
Yeah.
And who do
Yeah.
you think Chad had the biggest problem with?
Alex, yeah. But here's the thing. Okay, there's instigators and there's people who perpetuate it. So yeah, sure. I think the responsibility falls on both of their shoulders.
Sure.
Chad says some insensitive, awkward things. Sure. Don't let it get to you.
But
Yeah.
Alex was the instigator.
Alex was like, no, I'm not gonna let him get away with it. Boom. I mean, Alex
Okay.
loved that drama. I think Alex liked that drama more than he liked romance and
Jojo.
JoJo.
Oh, totally.
Definitely.
I mean, his eyes just light up.
Totally.
Versus, we spent too much time talking about Chad.
Now, the Evan thing, when Evan
I
was
was
around,
dying
and the
to ask about
T-shirt, and like, Evan seemed to be like, I've got all these guys around me. Chad's not going to do anything with
Yeah.
the show and all these guys around. Was he also instigating after
You
a
know what,
certain
man?
point?
If I was Evan, I would just never talk to Chad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are times where Evan just blatantly says, "Chad, what are you doing here?"
Which puts some
Like, I
weight
wouldn't
to
do
the
Yeah.
him saying that you're just you wanted to beat up that bully in high school and now you're taking it out on me.
Yep.
To be fair, so the totem pole was created relatively quickly.
Yeah.
First week, I call it totem pole.
Yeah.
love
The
it.
hierarchy of like.
Yeah, absolutely. And so Chad decided that first week he was just going to be the loner. He was going to do the loner thing, which is fine. He'd never seen the show before. He didn't know that relationships were important in the house too.
Which we guessed. Yeah.
And so once the hierarchy is created, it's like having that awkward friend of yours that in the beginning you kind of decide this person's socially awkward. So no matter what they say, it could even be funny. You're just like, no, you're an idiot. Get out of here. So that's what happened with Chad. I mean, once
Yeah.
he created that identity in the house,
Yeah.
no matter what he said, it was garbage.
But you guys are cool.
But I was cool with him. Yeah,
I love that.
But what do you think about Chad after The Bachelorette? Because he's done some shady stuff on social media.
yeah. He did all kinds of shady stuff on social media. He bought all the guys' domain names.
Yeah, we know about
The
that.
guys too?
But what about finding all these guys'
See,
ex-girlfriends?
that's sinister to me. Yeah, that's sinister to me. But again, he might just be going after the guys that were going after him. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe deep down inside, Chad is. You'll see the mental.
So Chad versus Alex, who wins?
I kind of know what Alex's specialty is in the Marines.
Yeah.
And so I would say Alex would probably win.
We had this big
Thank
debate,
you.
and that's what I said.
Thank you.
All right, hey, let's do this because we just got a few minutes, and I want to talk about you. So
Yeah, okay,
tell me,
cool.
tell me
So-
what you're doing now,
Yeah.
what you're doing around the country.
Yeah.
Fill us in.
So I've got my hands in a few different things. So I co-own a boxing fitness franchise called Title Boxing Club in Nashville. Box Nash is our T-shirt.
Box Nash?
Sweet shirt. And you'll see Luke. He comes to several classes all the time, and he'll wear the same shirt when he's out playing with James T, which we appreciate. We appreciate you, Luke, for doing that.
That's awesome.
Yeah. He loves the workout. So I co-own one of those in Nashville, and then I do across the country, and then also international personal fitness consulting. So if someone needs help getting in shape, they email me their goals, and then I'll keep them accountable to it like every day.
What's your email?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's my email?
We'll get it afterwards. We'll get it afterwards.
Cool. We'll get it afterwards. Yeah. So I basically talk to them every day. Whether we're texting, whether I'm calling them up, I'm like, okay, what'd you weigh today? And are you going to stay away from the bad
That's
foods? We're going to
awesome.
talk later on tonight, too. And so I hold their hand through it.
So you have clients all over the country like that?
Oh, yeah,
that
all
you're-
over the country, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. They send me their before pick, and they don't even have to. I send them a questionnaire. Based on
Yeah.
that, I create the plan for it.
What's your website?
Strongfirefitness.com.
Strongfirefitness.com.
Yeah.
That's catchy.
Strongfire Fitness. Yeah.
And this is your thing. It's your
It's
idea.
my thing, yeah, my idea. Yeah, my last name means strong in Spanish, so I'm like, I'm just going to do Strong
Fuertes.
Fire.
Fire, yeah.
Strong Fire Fitness. That's great, man. So where can people follow you on socials and
Oh
contact
man,
you?
yeah. Follow me at James J Fuertes. James J Fuertes. That's Instagram. That's Twitter. I do Snapchat, but I hate Snapchat.
You got
Really?
you got to snap it up, dude.
I know,
Snap
but
it
it's
up.
like, oh. So what happens is I follow Alex on Snapchat, and he Snapchats everything except wiping his own ass, and so like, it's so tough watching these things. I'm like, what am I supposed to Snapchat? Man?
He should watch my
it's too
Snapchat.
much.
I can teach him a few things
All
about how
right,
to do it.
final question. Were you
Final question.
surprised by who won?
I don't know how I can answer that without spoiling stuff. I don't know how I can answer that without spoiling stuff. To be continued. I think next episode. I can't even answer that without
You
spoiling
guys,
stuff.
that was
Yeah.
for fans. I tried, but
Yeah,
he's
sorry,
a good
guys.
man.
I can't spoil it.
James, thanks so much for joining us, man. There's some cool things.
Guys, thanks for having me.
Dude, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
This makes me so
problem,
excited
no
for
problem.
next Monday. You're the man. We appreciate you being honest
Thanks
and
for
giving
being
us
on here, guys.
some insight. This was great. Brooks, where can people find you?
You can find me on Snapchat. It's Brooks_Forrester. Since I'm bragging up Snapchat, I don't usually do this. Or on Twitter at Brooks Forrester.
You guys can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat at Ms. Zias. And you guys, I'm going to be gone the next 2 weeks, and I'm so sad about it. But I'm going to be trying to tweet about it as much as I can, so talk to me on there.
Living up that Grease
Have the
life.
best trip. I know, I'm so jealous. Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram at Briche, CBRICHE.
You guys can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Danny Hoyt and Snapchat at Danny Hoyt 47. Thank you guys so much. A big thanks to James J. Fuertes.
Thanks very much.
Thanks.
StrongFireFitness.com. Check him out. And to Steve in the producer booth. You guys are the best. We'll see you next Monday and Tuesday. Bye.
Bye-bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Strong Fire Fitness. Strong Fire Fitness. Strong Fire Fitness.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.